What's up, folks? I just dropped some serious dough on this thing, man. Serious dough. Fuel pump went out. I mean, it was bound to happen. These Safari Astro vans, they're just known for going out. So before I even bought this thing, I did, doing my research and stuff. I found out how bad the fuel pumps are. According to mechanics, it's Chevy in general. This is a GM, but it's a Chevy Astro van, the GM version of a Chevy Astro van, GMC. So I should be grateful that the fuel pump went out while I was in a parking lot somewhere of a gym that allows me to sleep. And not in the fucking New Mexico desert somewhere with no signal. So I'm grateful for that. Actually, I'm grateful for this whole thing. I'm glad, this fuel pump went out. It was bound to. Undercarriage fittings, connectors, hoses, and lines heavily damaged with rust. Had to replace above in addition to the fuel pump and fuel filter. They just did not expect, they thought it would be a fuel pump in and out type of thing. But they took it for a test drive, and it just, well, what happened, they started messing with the lines, and they started getting, started like crumbling and breaking apart. Excuse me. Steel lines, a little bit of rust in there, or, not stainless steel, just steel. Rust. Kind of situation where you leave it in place, you never touch it, it may be okay, but when you start wiggling stuff around, the weakest parts start breaking. So they found a leak, and then another leak, and then when they thought they were done, they had it buttoned up, took it for a test drive, found another leak. And I know that they are probably scared. First of all, they never did quote me. I never did get a dollar figure, which I don't care, I guess. I have no choice. What are they going to do? What am I going to do? I have no choice but to pay to get it fixed. But then I'm pretty sure they felt bad about having to tack on the money, the charging more. They had to put new parts. They had to put a new fuel filter in. They had to put new connectors. They had to make new fuel line. And then that takes labor, and they had to charge me labor. So they charged me just over $1,000 to put this fuel pump in. And with apparently the fuel pump being about $330, if it was at an opportune time and location, let's just say, for example, this thing broke down at my buddy's house, I would be able to remove all of this gear and put it in his garage, cut an access panel through the floorboard, pick out the old fuel pump, put it in. How many hours would that take? I don't know. But here's the thing. I wouldn't have found these broken fuel lines, these rusted out fuel lines. I wouldn't have changed out the fuel filter. I wouldn't have found all these rusted parts. Now I'm good for probably the life of this van. As long, I don't know how long I'll keep this. I'd like to upgrade right now if I could. But that's where I'm at. You know, it sucks to have to spend that much money. If I got it towed to a different location, that tow truck would have cost me $400. I mean, I know some mechanics that I've been going to down in Colorado Springs. I've been going to them for a couple years now. I trust them. They've done a ton of work for me. But that trip down there would have cost me a lot more money. This would have been a $1,400 job instead of $1,000 plus $100 in a hotel. So as much as I mean, I just fretted over tipping a barber. Check it out. I didn't have nothing else to do, so I got my hair cut at a barber here. You know, last night I didn't buy mouthwash because it would have saved me $2, even though it was on sale. I'm like, I don't need mouthwash. I don't use mouthwash. I put a $3 toothbrush away and bought a $1 toothbrush. It sucks that I spent $120 at a hotel room last night. But I have no qualms about spending the money to get the van fixed. I don't feel one bit of remorse. One of the reasons I'd say would be probably because I have no option. What option do I have? You know, I saved a few $100 just a couple weeks ago by changing out my own alternator. This I maybe could have done myself. But would I have run into all those? Here's the thing. Maybe I wouldn't have ran into all those fuel lines. But if I decided, which I never thought I would take all this out. If it was up to me, I would go underneath because all this stuff is in here. So if I were to go underneath and move the fuel, drop the fuel tank and start wiggling around those lines would have broke on me. And I'd be the one working in the fucking cold trying to get that shit fixed. I feel great about spending this money. It knocks about a month off of my how long I can live without getting a job finances. But at least I have a warm place to stay. And I'm wondering if my fuel line or my fuel pump was going out, but intermittently, and that's why my service engine, like every time my service engine soon light came on, I would never be anywhere to get it looked at. Let's say I'm like, I better get this looked at, and I pull into an AutoZone. By the time I got into the AutoZone, the shit would be off. Maybe it had to do with the fuel pump. Maybe. Who knows now? The shit is fixed. So, all right, that's it. I got nothing more to say. I'm grateful that my shit is fixed, and yeah, maybe I could have done it myself. You gotta pick your battles. Last couple weeks ago, last month, I did the alternator. This time, couldn't do it, even if I wanted to, based on my location. So that's what I gotta deal with. Van life. Van life. So we got a dog around here, locked in the car, barking its ass off. Anyways, folks, that's it. I appreciate you tuning in. Ciao.